Last night, as the Lightning came into Philly, we had an odd one, to say the least. Now, quickly, before the game, this was what the Flyers tweeted. The irony, because early in the game, we had a power outage. I have never personally seen something quite like it, as we had players not knowing when to come out of the penalty box.
Owen Tippett being told he's almost done serving his penalty. The players have no way of knowing.
We had players on the ice to start a period before the officials due to locker room clock issues and just overall a very interesting throwback to some 70s, 80s era hockey with the shadows, the dim lighting, and we also got a pretty funny hot mic.
Fuck me.
But yeah, certainly an interesting game. So let's see how it went down. Now, it started out normal, and just 2 minutes in, Brink down the middle, he shoots and scores. A shocker of a start as Brink, called up for the game with their first shot on net, beats Vasilevsky just under the blocker to start the scoring. The Lightning would get a couple of good looks of their own as they were the busier team early despite the score, but then, not 6 minutes in, and this happened. The lights just went out. Obviously, some stayed on, but the TV lights were out, the scoreboard was out, all broadcast booth screens were out, the refs' mics, and I got some footage from Jeffrey Michael Price, who uploaded this. I'll leave his link below, you can check out, but just a crazy scene at Wells Fargo Arena. Now, remember this tweet? Well, the Lightning tweeted one of their own asking for Edison. I don't know, just pretty good stuff, I thought. But it was far too early in the period to just roll the time over into the second, so the officials trying to figure it out. As you can see just how dim it really was. This is not ideal lighting for the goalies, obviously, but checking in with the league, it was eventually determined that as long as both teams agreed to play on, they would. Both Torts and Cooper agreed, and so we got a little throwback vintage hockey with the shadows, the darkly lit stands. I'll be honest, I kind of dig it. But because the scoreboard was out, we the viewers had no official time, but even the fans in attendance were in the dark, quite literally. And what was really odd was that there wasn't any music in between face-offs, which had to feel strange if you were at the game.
It feels different, right? In between whistles, there's not that energy that you typically have.
But as play continued, what I was curious about was how a power play would work. Well, with 4 to go, we found out. Tippett puts it over the glass, officials would get together, and again, there weren't any mics for the refs, but they did call a delay of game. So the Lightning to the power play, and Kucherov dangerous immediately, as they did have a few good looks, but missed the net more than not. Ultimately, they would not convert. And so as the penalty came to an end,
Owen Tippett being told he's almost done serving his penalty. The players have no way of knowing.
I thought that was pretty great as well. But yeah, it was an odd first period, to say the least, but it eventually would come to an end.
No horn. There's the whistle. Oh, very well done. Well done there.
And so we'll head over to the second, where still no power. And to start, the teams actually were on the ice before the officials, which I've never seen. Apparently their locker room clock also wasn't working, and that was seemingly the biggest issue. The clocks are a big deal, obviously. And so there was a bit of a delay again, but we would eventually start the second. And 3 minutes in, it's the Flyers getting called for another penalty, this time too many men. And just as the lights came back on, we got another call. Cirelli getting called for the trip meant we got some 4-on-4 action. So with things back to normal, Hagel to Paul, and he scores. He rips it past Ersson as Hagel extends his streak to 14 games, and we now had a tied hockey game. And again, as things slowly but surely came back alive, we also got a hot mic.
Fuck me.
As for the rest of the second, it was a pretty tight period. Ersson played well, but that was about it for the second, so let's head over to the third and final period, where not a minute in, it's Forster dangling to the backhand, and he scores. An absolute beauty here. 7th in 7 games, he beats Vasilevsky short side. It's a tasty one to take back the lead. Just 2 minutes later, it's Cates for Sanheim, and he scores. Going through traffic, beats Vasi glove side to make it a 2-goal game. game. And then, just 4 minutes later, Fairby to Walker and short side again, as not a great start to the third for Vasi, and we had a 4-1 hockey game. The Lightning would then pull Vasilevsky way early, point the shot, rebound, and they score. Finally answering back, it's Stamkos just beating Ersson, who had a great game. I mean, he almost got this one too, but we now had a 2-goal game. Vasi would then come out again, but a turnover immediately as Cates would take advantage, fires it down, and just about seals it. But look at Vasilevsky. He didn't even notice the turnover, as he definitely would have wanted to at least try to get back. Again, a rough night for him, but it was once again a 3-goal game. The Flyers would then shortly after tag on another, as York with the long-range empty netter made it a 4-goal game, and so as time would eventually expire, the Flyers would take a big one, 6-2, collect their 2 points, and remain in third place in the Metro. That was about it for this one. Again, a very strange game, but I hope you enjoyed. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you in the next one.